welcome. This is our special edition. In this edition, we are going to focus on one pressing issue, that is Ethiopian National Dialogue. And my guest today is Mr. Gashaw Edea. Mr. Gashaw Edea is a global Ethiopian Diaspora for Prosperity and Diversity founder and chairman. And thank you, Mr. Gashaw, for making your time for this interview.
Yeah, I would like to also say thank you for having me at OBN. As you said, my name is Gashaw Edea, and thank you again for having me.
And are you living in Ethiopia now or living in overseas?
No, basically I came from United States of America, from the state of Maryland, and I live there, and we came here to participate in the Ethiopian National Dialogue. So basically I have been in the US for the last 16 years. So we are here, to contribute an idea, thoughts for our country. So of course I'm living in the United States now.
And how is the discussion going on?
Yeah, of course. As you know, before you do anything, whether it is economy or politics, or if you want to build anything, an idea and the thoughts comes first. So as an Ethiopians who came from across the world and as a diaspora, and also Ethiopians from all corners, from north to south and east to west, to come together and to advise, discuss about our country's future by learning from yesterday and knowing where we are today based on our country and globally. So, the foundation of the national dialogue is, to, lay foundation, in terms of thoughts and ideas to build our country on a better unity and a better peace, and to leave the nation or a better nation for the next generation. So the national dialogue is currently going on really very smoothly. And as you know, when people come together, everybody come with their own idea, with their own values, with their own beliefs, with respect to politics and the unity and history and everything. But at the end of the day, we all own one country. And we live in the past, but as a human, the difference between humans and other animals is that we learn from yesterday. We work hard today, we pay sacrifice, we live today, but we need to live a nation which is better, a better nation for the next generation. So, the Ethiopian National Dialogue is really going on very smoothly, and it's very historical.
And what can you say about it is inclusivity? You are from USA, Ethiopian descent from USA, and can you say something about it is inclusivity? All people cannot come in one single hall. And
yeah, as you know, basically we are Ethiopians, and Ethiopia is a nation of more than 80 nations and nationalities. We have many languages, cultures, and values as a nation, and also as a diaspora. We came from North America, Australia, Europe, Middle East, from all corners of the globe. So, as I said, the beauty of Ethiopia is our values, which is more than 80. And the number of the people who are participating on the national dialogues are around 4,000. And you see what Ethiopia looks like in that compound, in the Ethiopian National Dialogue. So not only physically, and also in terms of values, in terms of the ideas that we bring to the table. So, basically as a humans, we are not all the same. And also in the same way as a nation, also we have different types of values and beliefs depending on what we need to contribute for our nation. So it's really highly diversified, and it's a pure definition of Ethiopia. So it's really, in my opinion, this is one of my biggest and groundbreaking experience for me, and even for Ethiopians, because we see what Ethiopia looks like practically. And we see what everybody is thinking for their nation, based on their experience, based on their knowledge and their values. So it's amazing experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, as you have said, this is the first for Ethiopia to discuss round the table. People represented all across the countries, and it is historical dialogue, national dialogue. And my question is, how this national dialogue should address different, perspectives. There are who, neglected themselves from this national dialogue, and those who are discussing in the future how it will, incorporate all segments of the society.
So it's a great question because before I answer your question, for me, this national dialogue is a second Adawa for me because our forefathers fought courageously to defend our freedom that we got from God. Because every humans, when we come to this earth, we are born free. We have that freedom. But unfortunately, the colonizers, had been, trying to kidnap and try to destroy the freedom that we get from God. And before 130 years, luckily, our forefathers, they are warriors and brave. They fought fiercely, fearlessly, and they were able to defend the freedom that we are enjoying today. That makes us to feel proud of ourselves wherever we are. So that's our first Adawa. And this time, Ethiopians came together by winning their emotion and their ego and thinking beyond their selfish interests and try to be an example for all Africans that, become an example telling to Africans that we can come together and build a nation which will be better for the next generation. So this is like a groundbreaking for Africans. And I came from the United States. In the US, before 250 years, around 50 intellectuals or elites came together, for 51 days, and they built one of the strongest constitution that is 250 years old today. And that has been able to build the strongest nation politically, economically, peace-wise, and power-wise. So, as you said, yes, we have different types of, beliefs in terms of politics, and some of the peoples who call themselves as elites are saying that we don't want to be part of this, and this doesn't belongs to us, and they're trying to blackmail or try to make this national dialogue to be valueless. But the biggest problem is Ethiopians are the one who are discussing for their future. But in the previous Ethiopian political system, the elites come together and they believe that they are the only ones to decide for the future of this nation. They had been believing that only elites know politics, only elites know about the future, about yesterday, about today. But that chapter is already closed now. Because nation is, the way we define nation is all about the peoples. The owner of this nation is the peoples. So the political future, today, yesterday, everything should be decided by the peoples. So,
and even the elites are part of the nations.
Yes, the elites are also part of the nations. But the problem is they are not lucky enough to change their paradigm that the future of the nation is decided by the people. Because, when we define a nation, it's all about people. Nation is not about the mountains or about the animals living on the land. It's me and you and 130 million people who are living on the land. So, if the owner of the people, the nations are the people, the political future of the nation should be decided by the people. So, I think, in my opinion, the biggest problem with our elites, basically, I don't call them elites. They may call themselves, but they are still believing that the future of the nation is only decided by the elites. They should be able to understand that chapter is closed, and going forward, we are discussing and trying to create a document. How our nation futurity should be. That's what we are trying to do now. So once the peoples decide and finish that document, from now on, every elite will be like an employee. There will be like a document or a constitution if they want to be a power, if they need a power or wants to lead a nation or, the country, now we have a document that the peoples have decided that our nation should look like this. So, in the old times, we have been leading our nation based on the ideologies that we got from another nation, like capitalism, socialism, and everything. But the foundation of our discussion is not an ideology that came from outside. It's just from here. The same way, currently our government, the Prosperity Party, is a nation-grown political system. The same way, the idea that we are using.
You mean bottom up, not up-down approach?
Yes, it's not from outside in or from top to bottom. So, at the end of the race, the people and the truth is going to win. You can try to hide the truth and the truth of the nation and the people, but that will never work and it will never succeed historically. So, at the end of the day, people are going to win, truth is going to win, and I hope our elites who are still on the same paradigm, will see this truth and try to be part of the history.
And the other one is the unity of among the nations. And regardless of our differences, political differences, ethnicity, religious, and you can name, the unity at the end of the day is demanded from this national dialogue. And what kind of unity? And the Prime Minister, at the very beginning of his speech to the Parliament, says unity doesn't necessarily mean uniformity. And what kind of unity are you expecting?
Basically, not only as a nation. As a humans, we don't have the same personality, we don't have the same thoughts, we don't have the same emotion, we don't have the same political philosophy. It's a human nature, basically, to have a difference in everything. And as a nation, we are a nation of 80 nations and nationalities. So our differences are our beauty. Second, because of or thanks to our forefathers who defended our freedom, our values, our language and everything, we are natives and indigenous societies for our land. So, as you said, our Prime Minister says that unity doesn't mean that we are uniform. We have our own values, our own cultures, our own language, keeping our own values, but we have one nation. And also we have the most foundational history that we accomplished before 130 years, that's Adawa. So we have many historical unities that we can bring or we can make it, we can use it as a foundation to learn from yesterday, work hard today, pay sacrifice and build one of the strongest nations in the future. So, we have been, a nation of long history. So that's our unity, basically. So we can bring any type of idea, any type of ideology that we believe to work for our country's future. But at the end of the days, we can come up with, an ideology or great thoughts that can build, one of the strongest unity between the nations and nationalities. And, as you said, during now, at the National Dialogue, you can see the whole 80 plus nationalities, sitting down and discussing about one nation, about our
you
country.
Mean the representatives?
Yes, the representatives, the 4,000. So, in my opinion, if you go all over the nation, all the strongest and the weakest nations, the peoples may have differences in terms of political beliefs, but they have common ground with respect to the unity of their nation. So when we came together, our foundation is we need a most peaceful, prosperous, and unified nation. So making our historical success and our beautiful cultures and the values, to tell you frankly, building unity among Ethiopians is it's not a big deal, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you. And the other one is about its timing. And some claims that this is not the right time to conduct a national dialogue. And others say it is too late to even conduct the national dialogue. It should be before now. And what do you say on this? When is the right time?
There is no wrong time or right time, in my opinion, because the main thing is leadership.
Sure.
Luckily, in my opinion, we are really as the greatest and luckiest moment because Ethiopia gets a leader or a leadership who understands the value of time and the value of history, because the best quality of a leader is a leader who connects yesterday, today, and tomorrow, where you learn from yesterday, you work hard today, you pay sacrifice today, then live in a better nation for the next generation. So I would like to take this opportunity really to say thank you very much to our Prime Minister who understands these greatest values of a leadership. So unfortunately, we didn't get a chance on the previous regimes to prepare this type of opportunities for the societies and the peoples to come together and discuss about their nation. There was no any chance previously. But now, leadership is always important in building a nation. So our leader, he went out of his ego, he went out of his personal interest. Then he said, this nation belongs to the people. So it has to be the people who should discuss and decide about their nation. So, to tell you frankly, if you try to listen to what's being said outside of the circle, you will never even move one single step to the, ahead. That's why we learn from our Prime Minister, the dogs can bark, but the camel will keep on going.
Sure.
So, the point is the peoples are the one who are discussing. There is no any foreigner inside that, among those 4,000. We, the owner of the peoples, are discussing about our nation, about our future. So, in my opinion, this is one of the best historical opportunities for the Ethiopians to come together without any influence, with 100% democracy and freedom to discuss, about their nation's future. And one of the most beautiful and the greatest things that I observed during our discussion on the national dialogue is everybody brings what they believe to be right for the nation and they put it on the table. And nobody has the right to oppose and try to convince him that what he said is wrong. So everybody is expressing their experience and knowledge with full freedom, with democracy, and to put it on the table, then eventually try to explain why he said that. And eventually, if that person believes that what he said was wrong, he's going to change his mind, because at the end of the day, we are humans. And the difference between humans and animals is that animals just live for today. And the animals are emotional beings, but we are not emotional beings. Animals live in the previous emotions that they experienced. But as humans, as I said previously, we learn from yesterday. Yesterday is our lesson where we learn to build today and the future. So, to tell you frankly, I feel proud, to be at this historical and pivotal moment of our nation's history. And, we know what we have been through, we don't need to cry on yesterday. A warrior or a hero doesn't always cry on yesterday. We learn from our previous wounds and the pains, and we build the better future on that wound and the pain. So this generation is a winner generation, and the leadership is also a winner leadership. And in my opinion, this is really the most lucky and the greatest time to come together and discuss about our nation's future.
And the other one is Mr. Gashaw. Thank you very much for this insight and the trust among the nations, and trust between the government and the native citizens. And how should we build the trust? Now there are many rumors outside. People who are not participating in the national dialogue are talking different things. Actually, not the people. the some elites
Yeah.
and some social media influencers release different things among the societies, and how should the public trust the national dialogue, the discussion, and the government and the situation,
Sure.
and including the media, by the way.
Yes, there is a saying in English called "seeing is believing." So, as I said, the peoples who are participating on the national dialogues are Ethiopians, all 4,000, and they are the owner of these nations, just like the rest of the 130 million peoples. So, as I said previously, truth is always a winner,
Sure.
and the truth is inside the peoples. So, at the end of the days, the owner of these nations, who are represented by the rest of the societies, are in the national dialogue to discuss about their nation's future. So truth is discussing at this moment. So as I said, people can say whatever they want, and as Ethiopians, we have many visible and invisible enemies, who have been dragging us behind, who have been making us to pass through in many life losses and economical distractions and distraction of our politics. Because at the end of the days, the owner of these nations are the peoples,
Sure.
the nations and nationalities. And more than anything, what makes me proud is the whole 80 nationalities in this country are natives. They are the owner of their land, the owner of their values, the owner of everything of this country. So the enemy can say many things, whether it's the inner enemies or the outside enemies, because we know it already. Having such type of enemies is not new thing for us. We have long history or historical enemies. We saw many things because of our success in building GERD. We saw many enemies that had been trying their best to the end of their breath to stop Ethiopia, not to move forward. So, in my opinion, we should work hard to dominate the narratives because we have the truth at hand. At the end of the days, no doubt, we are already winning, and we have one of the greatest leadership that we have at this time, who is really building, a generation, who is connecting times, who is really teaching the Ethiopians a new paradigm, political paradigm. So, in my opinion, it doesn't go that far. At the end of the days, the national dialogue will have a big trust, in the societies, in the nations, in the peoples, and will be successful at the end.
And finally, this national dialogue will be a lesson even for the upcoming generation here. It is the first time that Ethiopia is discussing about its national issues, and even for other African countries. I'm sure only few countries in Africa, succeeded in national dialogue.
Yeah.
And what kind of lesson to this national dialogue will last for us at first place and for the entire African countries?
Of course, this is, as I said previously, this national dialogue is a pivotal moment for Ethiopians and even for whole Africans, because we have a lot of histories that has been the example for Africans. As I said previously, the Adawa, where we defended our freedom. Now, we are, as Ethiopians, have agreed, came together, and we're trying to say it's enough. We have been through many dark moments, many dark histories. We have beautiful values, beautiful cultures, beautiful histories that we built for the last century. So, amazingly, for the last 1 month, this national dialogue has been going on, amazingly, peacefully, democratically, where Ethiopians learn to listen for the first time to each other, with all our differences. And eventually we are coming to the end to get great ideas that can build the nation for all, as a people. So, as you said, this thing is, I think, I'm very sure, maybe the first time in Africa where 4,000 citizens come together with all our differences to discuss about our nation. Africans learned how to defend freedom, how to build nations from Ethiopians after Adawa, Now we are also trying to be an example for our next generation. We are laying a foundation, that we can sit down and talk, regardless of our elites, our unfortunate elites who are not lucky enough to sit down and talk about their nation. So we are breaking that habit, The Ethiopians are telling to the so-called elites that it's enough. We saw them many times, 3-4 times our elites told us, we know for you, follow me behind, let's do a revolution. The people run behind them, but at the end of the day, the elites keep on building a dictatorship where our people suffered politically, economically, socially, in all respects. So the people are telling to the elites now, your time is over now. It's time that we are deciding for our nations, for our generations. And really, this is a historical moment where the peoples, where Ethiopians decide, for ourselves. And also, this is the best opportunity for the so-called elites in Ethiopia to come to themselves and really understand what is the difference between politics, nations, and peoples. Now, this is the biggest problem in Ethiopia. Our elites are not lucky enough to understand or to honestly understand and show to the others the difference between politics, peoples, and nations. Everything is mixed up. So now the Ethiopians have decided just to decide for their nations, for the future. From now on, the elites, if they want power, if they want position, if they want to lead a country, from now on, everything will be based on the willingness of the people.
Must be through the nations.
That is through the nations. So, as you said, we are really we became a pioneer for the next generation, for Africans, to come together, 4,000 peoples. And as I said, it's a month, there is no any issue in that yard when we are discussing, of course. As humans, we have a difference in terms of ideologies and beliefs, but at the end of the day, everything is coming together. And we are winning eventually, in my opinion. Yeah.
Mr. Gashaw Edea, Global Ethiopian Diaspora for Prosperity and Diversity founder and chairperson, thank you very much for these wonderful insights.
Also, really thank you very much, OBN. And OBN is the voice of Ethiopians. As you know, information is like a survival thing at this time. So, and the Ethiopians, we have more than 80 languages and values. So OBN has stepped in, to answer, the language barriers. The lack of information because of language barriers. I'm really proud of to be, on the guest of OBN. And also, I would like to say thank you very much.
Thank you for the comment as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear viewers, this is all about our discussion for this edition. And I am sure you have got very important lesson from this discussion. And till next edition, goodbye.